Greetings, greetings, and greetings, blade lovers and blade fans, and all of you out there that follow this channel. I welcome you back for another review overview, this time of a premium TwoSun knife designed by prolific designer for TwoSun, Mazwan Mokhtar. And he does some exceptional blades. I've got a couple other examples over in the wings, but this is the TS264, and sorry, I can't find its nickname. I'm calling them nicknames because they don't put it on the blade, but sometimes they do have an underlying name. One of you TwoSun guys out there will probably tell me what it is, so I welcome that. It is a knife I hemmed and hawed about many times before finally picking it up. I think they're going for about $1.25. That is $125 out on White Mountain when you can find them. One of the reasons I hesitated was it's a little on the smaller side, but again, back out even though it's small. It's a beautiful knife. It's constructed of fantastic materials. It's got a tremendous design. It's got a blade shape I don't often go for, but it seems with the smaller knives that I have been going for the taller blades, and this is a very tall blade. Kind of short but stout, shall we say. But the handle, even if I don't use the finger choil on the blade, if I go back here, I still have a little bit left over on my medium-large hand. If I choke up, and there's something interesting going on here, see that little notch? What they did was give you both a finger choil and a sharpening choil. There it is. Kind of unique. Not sure how long that'll last after a few sharpenings, but it is a way of keeping the heel of that blade away from your finger to a degree when you choke up there. And I don't feel it, so it must be working. Either that or my hand is numb and oh, am I bleeding? No. Lots of interesting features on this knife, and we're going to measure it up in a bit, but you see that hole that goes through the handle? Well, it also goes through the blade, and look how they accomplished that. Put a hole in the blade. Strictly aesthetics. No purpose, strictly because, hey, we're going to show you what we can do with this design. Pretty amazing. As a utility sort of knife, or EDC, that grind goes all the way to the top of this thick stock blade, probably 4 millimeters or so. Very, very slicey because of that. You've got a forward belly, which can be used for slicing, detail work. You've still got a pretty good point that's fairly fine, tapers pretty quickly past this point. Or I should say that location, the point's out there. Beautiful carbon fiber handle. TwoSun does a great job with their carbon fiber. It's amongst the best. Just has a nice, almost a ladder design there. And it's on both sides, which is great. And it is a frame lock, not a bolster lock. Has a hardened steel insert, and the action is tremendously drop shutting. Fires like a demon. Nicely tuned detent. Can't fail it. I felt that pressure build up. It wasn't moving at all, and then it releases all at once. It's just perfect. T8 on the pivot. Only problem is the clip to a degree, and other reviewers have mentioned this. It's short and very inflexible. So, I mean, there could be a remedy for that. I think I may have taken it off already and created a little bit of space there that you can see. Almost fully deep carry as well. Held on by a single screw, but it's countersunk. The clip is countersunk into the scale. So doesn't wiggle so long as you got that secured all the way down. Meets a barrel on the other side here, which is put in place by yet another screw. So you got a screw on each side. They don't meet, but they're in the same tube. The spine could, if you didn't look too carefully, could look like an integral, but it's not. It's obvious that there's a seam there, so you have two halves coming together of that titanium handle. Now, for the size, in inches, I'm going to call that 7.5 inches. Going to call that cutting, or not the cutting edge, but the blade, 3.25. Cutting edge slightly less than that. So they did pretty well with the choil. It's not too big on the blade. It kind of backs into the handle a bit. Let's see. The blade, I'm going to do both millimeters and inches for those that are requesting both. So that's a 4mm blade stock. And if we switch to inches, it's a 0.15. And if we do the handle in inches, 0.55, not bad. So we've got some contouring there. And it's really, I would say it's really not thin, it's not thick. Let's weigh it up. Let's see what we got. Are you done? Let's do a Terry. Okay. 3.97. We're going to call that a 4-ounce knife. 3.973. 4 ounce. I mean, not bad. Just about medium for that size knife. There is no weight relieving on the inside, but I'm going to double check that. Nope. Then again, you know, you've got the scales taking away some of the titanium. They're carbon fiber, which is extremely light. And jimping. 1, 2, 3, 4 jimps there. And it is fairly aggressive. Not particularly deep, but sharp-shouldered. Double thumb stud. So, of course, we can open this, I think. Yeah. Takes a little bit of effort because it is a pretty strong detent. You can middle finger flick it. And I just love thumb flicking. It's just so natural for me. You know, take the knife out of the pocket. The thumb is right there because you took it out like that. And there you go. Again, I don't mind. I got plenty of flippers, but that versus that, for me, that's so much easier. And it's an attractive clip, even though you might need to adjust it a little bit. You might need to bend it. I know somebody, I forget who it was, on their review, they took the clip off and they did some light cuts on the underside of that clip to give it some flex. I would be careful that you just don't cut too deep. But we'll call that a drop point blade with a big belly and tall, coming in at 1.25 inches for a relatively short knife. That's pretty good. Does allow you to place your finger all the way on the back of the spine of the blade. And that's not a bad way to, you know, do your push cuts and so forth. You know, can be held edge out. I'm not too comfortable edge in with a point down. And we're going to leave it there as we bring out a couple other larger Mazwan Mokhtar designs. This one is called the Gulper, and it's out of S90V. And as you can see, that's a larger knife, but again, a lot of the same design notes. Simple, modern look. Usually a feature or two that's a bit unusual. And on this one, it's simply that you have kind of a Persian upswept blade, but with, again, a fairly tall blade. More shallow grind, both flat ground. you can see for comparison it's a good deal larger. And this is the Lockdown. It's been a very popular blade. It's out of 14C, and it's got the brown canvas micarta with a bolster of carbon fiber. Again, similar blade to the Gulper with that upswept point. Reviews out there on both of these, just look at my TwoSun list and you can get a better look at both of those. Now if we compared the 264 to some standard fare from Benchmade, you'll see that the Griptilian is certainly a larger knife by at least an inch overall. And if we compare it to the sizable Rat 1 from Ontario knives, that's a good coming up almost on 1 3/4 inches, something like that. Bigger, longer blade, yes. But is the TS264 worthy of EDC? I would say absolutely. And it is a beautiful EDC at the same time. So it can be very, very useful, very slicey, but very robust due to that 4mm blade stock. We'll take one final look around in case you missed something. No lanyard hole. Short clip. And it is got a lot of tension on it. High all the way to the top, flat grind, double thumb studs, and it does lock up on the thumb studs if I didn't mention that. So good sturdy lockup right on the frame. TS264. Thanks for taking a look. Don't forget to give this video a like and subscribe. Be back with you soon.